What up, y'all? So I figured today I would finally make the video of the updated version of what happened between us and our last roommates. Us being Clinton Jorgensen, Carolyn Jorgensen, and them being Olivia McClam and Andre Corbett, Logan. Let's just keep in mind, I went through and I made a list of everything that they've done. And it is 3.5 pages, almost 3.5 pages, and 28 talking points. That's how fucking horrible you motherfuckers were up to us. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with, I met Andre through a mutual friend of ours, Ashley. Okay? At first, it was Andre and Ashley living together, and it was cool the first week. I thought everything was going to go good. I thought the new roommate situation was going to be good. After a week of us living there, Andre had that other chick, Ashley, gone, and had Olivia, aka Jaye, in place. Okay? Within the first 2 weeks of us living there, he had quit his job at a call center that he had just barely got hired on, like the day we got there. Okay? There was, within the first week of us living there, there was $114 over, like, that needed to be paid, or the power was going to remain shut off because it got shut off. And I ended up paying it out of my own good nature to the power company. Andre said he'd pay me back. He never did. He's a lying fucking piece of shit. They were asking me constantly for rides to go get them stuff at various stores. I started asking for gas money, and they were getting overly pissy with me and my girlfriend about that because they felt entitled. We would come home constantly to post-it notes being everywhere, being like, make sure you shut the door. Please be quiet between these times. Don't slam the fridge door. Make sure you lock the door. Please clean up after yourselves. All this bullshit. The thing is, like, we were fucking really clean people, and we were really about our shit. What they were trying to do is they were trying to barrage us with a bunch of shit, but not trying to do it directly. They were doing it through fucking post-it notes to try to make it easier to gaslight us. That way they could just be like, oh, it's just us drawing boundaries. That wasn't true. I hated that shit. Coming home to fucking 4 or 5 different post-it notes every day about something that we're not doing right. It was fucking ridiculous, and it was a way to try to regulate us, and it was a way to try to gaslight us as well. They would constantly say that we were leaving doors open, or the front door wasn't being locked. There was times where I remember specifically shutting the bathroom door, and I would come back out, and it would be open. It was another way to gaslight us. They would leave the doors open and stuff unlocked, and then they'd try to blame it on us. But I realized all this was going on, okay? When we've had to cover their portion of the bills and the power bill multiple times. There's been 2 different times where we've had to come up with, I think the first time was $200 and the second time was $250 to cover a portion that they owed of their part of the rent to keep us all in the place without us getting evicted. Okay? We had at least, there was a pay or vacate almost every month on the door. I just got tired of paying their portion of the bills, and I told them I wasn't going to do it anymore. They told me not to ask questions because it wasn't appropriate for me to ask them about their finances and that they would take care of it, right? There was at least 2 different times the power got shut off as well that I covered their portion of it. The second time I made them pay me back and made them take it out of my rent, so they handled most of the rent for that month, surprisingly. The next month, though, I had to pay a portion of the rent, of their rent, which was bullshit. From the very moment we started living there, when Olivia started living in the apartment up at Riverwalk Parkway, there were all these fucking, dude, I have never seen somebody own so many fucking dildos in my fucking entire life, dude. They were everywhere. She was in no way clean about anything. They'd just be lying out everywhere. Like, there was fucking a couple times where her fucking daughter, I seen her running down the hall carrying a big old floppy dildo, like her 2-year-old daughter. Yeah, there'd be times where her daughter would get her hands on fucking lube that was just left out, and she would sit there and bitch at Andre, get that from her, because she was too fat to get off her ass and do anything herself. It was disgusting. One more thing. She tried to sit there and say that I had a thing for her. In no way did I have a thing for this chick. She's disgusting. Disgusting, disgusting, gross. Not only is she physically not attractive, dude, she is mentally fucking crazy bitch. She's dirty. They're both dirty and nasty as fuck. Like, yeah, hell no. I'd rather stick my dick in a toaster. So, there's that. Yeah, nasty sex toys all over the place. The house was always a fucking mess unless we cleaned it. And believe me, the first 3 months we were there, we tried to keep the place clean. But after a while, I just stopped giving a fuck, dude. Because I wasn't going to go up and constantly clean up after other people, okay? There would be times where they'd go through and they'd cook and dirty up the whole fucking kitchen, and there would be fucking dishes piled out of the sink for a fucking week straight, dude. There would be fucking trash coming out of the garbage can, piling up on the wall for 2 or 3 days at a time before it got taken out, because I refused to stop being taken advantage of, and so did Carolyn. And it was just nasty all the fucking time. All the fucking time. We're clean people, dog. They refused to let us use the microwave because they said we were constantly dirtying it, which was fucking bullshit because it was them dirtying it. They just didn't want to clean it. And they refused to let us use the washer and dryer in the apartment because they said that we'd leave stuff in our pockets and they didn't want it fucking to be want it to ruin the washer or dryer. But the fact of the matter is this: we weren't leaving stuff in our pockets. What was happening? And he was just being a dickhead. And he would sit there and he would load the fucking washer off balance all the time, and it'd sit there and bang, bang, bang against the wall. And he wouldn't do anything about it. And therefore, I would say that he's a fucking idiot. He was the one destroying his own washer because he's a fucking moron. Anyway, it doesn't fucking matter. There was a time where we had a bunch of plates that we bought from him when we moved in within the first week. He took the plates that we bought and tried to put them in his bedroom and tried to say, oh, we just put them there because we're moving stuff around. We'll put them back later. They didn't put them back for 2 days. Finally, they got tired of me asking. He ended up blowing up. I was like, dude, just put our fucking plates back. And then he went and finally grabbed them out of his room and put them back where they went. So her family came one day, and I started finally setting boundaries, right? And being like, listen, this is making me feel uncomfortable. You guys need to work on this, And I was doing it in a healthy way. I was sticking up for ourselves. I wasn't doing anything wrong, right? Like, they would constantly ask us when we were, like, when we'd go somewhere on the weekends, like, to visit her family, like my wife's family, when we were coming back. Until finally I was like, stop asking that. We're adults. We don't have to explain ourselves. And it was just me drawing a boundary. And after that, that's when things really, really started to fucking go downhill. Like, that's when they started really treating us like shit. And yeah, dude, it was fucking ridiculous, dude. And her family came along, right? And we were trying to be cordial and trying to talk and trying to be friendly with them because we'd been trying to do that with Andre and her. Should have realized then, or long before then, that they were just taking advantage of us. But we were trying to develop better I was trying to develop better communication between us, and I was trying to make it so we could try to get along, because I thought maybe it was just a lack of communication on my part, whatever, but that was never the case. They really were taking advantage of us. But her family came, and her dad and mom, who were losing their apartment or whatever, and her brother and sister. And we were being nice, trying to be cordial. And then Carolyn busted in the room before work, crying, saying they just asked if we could go somewhere else for a couple days. Keep in mind, we just paid rent 2 days before these people showed up. Our portion of the rent, anyway. And I texted Andre, and I was pissed. And her dad messaged me back and was like, I invite you to talk. Andre had proceeded to sit there and lie to us about them, about us, and about what was really going on with the place. And he tried to make it seem like, he told me in front of her dad, you guys know you're just renting a womb white. This isn't your home. And I looked at him and was like, actually, this is our home. You see, we signed on to the lease. But they wanted us to go for a couple days, and I told them, fuck no. And her dad was like, well, my daughter and son are staying here for a couple days, and they're going to be staying here, and I want to make sure they're comfortable. And I said I would respect them. I didn't respect Andre or Olivia at all, because who the fuck would? And they pretty much tried to make us look like fucking trash, and we were the problems. They tried to say that the reason the house was dirty the day they showed up is because we were refusing to clean up our mess. That was the day they said we couldn't use the fucking washer or the fucking microwave. And all the bullshit. Didn't manage to tell them anything about how, like, Jaye and Andre were the ones who were actually not cleaning up after themselves and were refusing to work. Like, trying to make us look like fucking assholes. Tried to make us really feel unwelcome. And, I don't know. That's when I started really looking at another place to go. And I'm proud that I did that. Let's see. Nasty sex toys, microwave, incident with her family. Oh yeah, Andre would get animals while we were there. Or he'd be like, we want to get a dog when we first got there. He let 2 cats loose in the neighborhood in the middle of winter because he suddenly decided he couldn't handle 4 cats. He wasn't supposed to have cats, period. But he had them there against the lease anyway. And finally I got pissed and I told him, listen, I don't want you guys taking any more animals while I'm in this house. Well, that stayed as a rule for a while, up until the last month we were there. Where she got a corn snake, which you're not supposed to have in those apartments to begin with anyway. And after he said he was going to get a ride to take the animals to the animal shelter, instead he just took them outside and released them in the neighborhood. And I got to listen to the neighbors complain about it to me, even though I had nothing to do with it. They were constantly talking shit behind my back to Carolyn, being like, well, why don't you just break up with them? You know what I mean? If you break up with them, you could stay here and help us pay bills. Right? Because they knew they couldn't control me, and they knew that I would be a problem eventually, right? Fat bitch had her job at Sam's Club, where she only worked 2 to 3 days a week, and it was only like a 4 to 5 hour shift. She quit her job to be a stay-at-home mom. But then the first 3 months of her being there, and all she ever did was sit around on her ass and go dirty up the kitchen. That's all she fucking ever did. She didn't clean nothing. She didn't do nothing. She just dirtied up the fucking house and sat on her ass. Okay. There was always toys scattered everywhere, trash piled up the walls, yep, dirty dishes in the sink, yep. We were always suspicious of them going through our room. Carolyn especially. I thought so too because one of our keys, because I bought a locking door lock, one of our keys came missing from Carolyn's key ring, and it was the key. It was the key to the door to our room. They would get upset whenever their child would go around Carolyn and would do something small like give her knuckles or run up and give her a hug. They would get all defensive, and they pretty much treat Carolyn like she was a leper or something because of their kid, which was fucking ridiculous. Andre got caught stealing from Walmart. When he got caught and when he was in the security room, he tried to say that the reason he was stealing was because Carolyn was forgetting to make sure that he grabbed all his stuff when he left and paid for his stuff. And so he had to come back to steal it. He tried to make it seem like it was her fault, the reason that he was stealing, and that she wasn't all that great. Let me keep... Jesus Christ. Fucking dude. Anyway, this fucking dude fucking sat there and tried to make it seem like Carolyn was the reason that he was fucking stealing from Walmart. Like a piece of fucking low-grade garbage. Let's see here. Oh yeah, they constantly say why are you guys talking to us about your problems? We don't want to hear about your problems because you act like you aren't sympathetic towards any of our problems. It was that these people would gaslight constantly. These were the most fucking sick people I've ever met in my life, and they would do shit like this so they could get away with stuff, such as going through and fucking leaving doors opening doors when we weren't there, and then saying that it was us that left it open or unlocked when we remember specifically what we were doing, because we're not fucking retards. Right? Let's see. Yeah, Carolyn finally had it with your guys' shit one day, and she had an oven mitt that she took, and she threw it across the room, and it didn't hit your kid, but it almost hit your kid. Keep in mind, oven mitt, and it didn't even hit your fucking kid, and you guys started telling Carolyn to telling your daughter to stay away from Carolyn because she was dangerous. That's just... And started treating Carolyn really like shit after that. You guys were never close to me, but Carolyn really tried to be cool with you guys so we could all get along, especially for my fucking, because I don't know, there was just something wrong with you two. Okay, but you started treating us all like shit because you guys are shit. I don't know. You went through and you took the stuff out of our bathroom because you said you could hear us talking shit in our room about you, which we weren't. You're just an idiot. But how fucking childish can you be to take a fucking shower curtain? A shower curtain and a soap dish and the rack that goes around the back of somebody's toilet. Like, unfucking real, dog. You're the worst human beings I've ever met. The day Carolyn's dad died, you called that day while we were mourning with her family and demanding that we come home right that second. And when we found out why, it was because you guys had not paid your portion of the rent, and we were about to get another pay or vacate in 3 days on the door. You didn't pay $350 of your portion of the rent. And you demanded that we get there and that we pay your portion of the rent. We both told you to get fucked. Like, how fucking disrespectful can you be? Let's see. Yeah, I started, as soon as I found out we were approved, I sent Carolyn a week before to her friend's house because I said either way we were getting our stuff out by the end of the month, whether we were going to live with her stepmom or whether we just got approved for our own place. Okay, so I sent Carolyn away. The day I figured out we were getting into the place we're in now, I went through and I started packing everything as quickly and as fastly as I could. And I got as much of it as I could. Okay, and the reason I did this is because I knew you were going to try to ransom our stuff for money so we would pay more of the bills. Even though we told you the month before we were moving out. Or at the beginning of the month that we were moving out by the end of the month. I knew you were going to try to ransom our shit to try to force us to pay our portion of the following month. Okay? Which, fuck you. I'm not giving you two motherfuckers another dime. And when I came to get the stuff to move it, I had already been gone a week at that time. I caught you guys by surprise, which I meant to do, so you guys couldn't fucking keep me from my shit. I showed up with me and my friend Bryant. Jaye got fucking intimidated. Good. Fuck you, fat bitch. And continued. You let us grab most of it right then and there. And I wanted to get as much as I could, as of it as I could in one swoop because I knew you were going to cause problems, and you did try to cause problems. You started saying that we were to come and get the rest of our shit that night, even though the apartment management told us that day that we had till the end of the month to get our stuff out. Andre, you went down to the office that day and said we got all of our stuff out and that you needed the locks changed. You lied to try to keep us from the rest of our stuff, but we didn't want to fucking deal with the problems anyway, so we left the bed and the TV stand and the fan and the little space heater and all the fucking mess for you to clean up because you guys are fucking trash, okay? And what you did there was bullshit anyway, okay? We would have cleaned the place, we would have fucking been there, you guys just had to be decent, but you weren't decent during the whole fucking time of this whole fucking situation. You weren't fucking decent people. Okay? So, I did what I had to do. And I don't feel bad at all. And anything I've done to slight you since then, you motherfuckers deserve it. You were sitting there and we wrecked our car, okay? The day we wrecked our car, right? You sat there and you told it was the next day, you told my wife that I would have deserved to die in that car wreck. Okay? You told my wife after she miscarried our child that, and this is stuff that I haven't even put on the list, so there's more. There's more. Like, there's more. The day that fucking, you sat there and you told my wife that she would have deserved to miscarry our child. That we would have deserved it. Or that we deserved to miscarry our child. Okay? That was what you said. Okay? After we had all of our stuff out, Andre, you proceeded to have the cops called because you planted drugs, methamphetamine, around our bed that we left there. Fuck you, I haven't touched dope in over 3 years, bitch. You were going into Carolyn's work. And you were telling coworkers and customers that she was a fucking baby killer because she killed her baby. We had a miscarriage. You're a piece of shit. You finally walked up to Carolyn this last time at her work and told her that you were going to have her and me killed. Okay? Her fucking coworkers seen what you were doing and heard what you were doing, okay? And they said you better leave her the fuck alone. And she called you white trash. You approached her aggressively. And her coworkers were there and they told you, leave her the fuck alone. And you turned tail and ran, okay? My wife was first on the phone with me and then talked to her manager, okay? They were getting ready to call the cops on you because management has told you before to leave Carolyn alone and quit fucking harassing her at work, okay? You beat us to the punch, man. You called the cops and tried to say we were threatening you. But little did you know, there was fucking multiple witnesses to what you have been doing and what you were doing that day. Not only that, but there was fucking camera footage, you fucking idiot. You think camera footage can't tell who fucking instigated that interaction? Especially when you walk up behind somebody, you fucking retard. And then, I've been talking shit on Facebook lately. Not like using their full names or anything, or whatever. I got all their little friends being like, oh, you guys are terrible pieces of shit. She kicked you out because you weren't paying rent. No, bitch. We were paying rent. That's why we're in our own fucking apartment right now. That's why we refuse to keep paying their fucking bills. That's why I took out a loan against my 401k to get this place. So, that's where we're at, dude. And I'm sure, yeah, what I just mentioned, the 2 or 3 things I just mentioned, fucking well would have put this list at almost 4 fucking pages. And I'm sure there's more shit that I forgot to fucking mention. But as far as I'm concerned at this point, I just want people to know what kind of fucking people these guys are. If you want any further information, feel free to contact me. But yeah, if you hear of Jaye, Olivia McClam, or Andre Corbett renting a room up at the Riverwalk Parkway apartments in Logan, just be warned. They're trash. And motherfuckers, if you're watching this, I will do everything I can to cite you. Because you guys are you're garbage. And you can't keep getting away with this with everybody. And this is not over. So, anyway, much love, y'all.